Hello ladies and gentle ladies, and welcome back to another Forge modding tutorial for Minecraft 1.20. And in this tutorial we're going to be covering recipes. So let's just get started, shall we? So the first thing we're going to do is come into the first link in the description, and that will once again be misode.github.io/recipe. And as you can see, this site proves super helpful for pretty much anything data orientated we want to do inside of modding. And yeah, it's going to be super simple, this tutorial. So first we just pick the recipe type. As you can see, there's a bunch of different types, so we're just going to start with crafting shaped. You can specify a different group here if you want, or create your own. Then we can give it a pattern, so we can say a row 1. Now I'm just going to do our example helmet first. So I'm going to say something like, I'll go E, 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 and I'll add another row, and I'll go E, E, and that will give us our helmet. And then we can create the key for that. So we can go key E, and E will be first equal to Minecraft stone, but we actually want it to be tutorial mod example underscore item, and you see that's an object, or you can also give it a list as well, or alternatively you can provide a tag that should be used for that key. For example, you might want to give it like planks, which means it would be able to use any different planks for that one, but we don't want that, so I'm going to remove that. Then we just say a result. So what result should this give? Well, this should give tutorial mod example helmet, and a count of 1. You can alternatively specify. You don't have to specify a count of 1. By default, it will just give a count of 1 anyways. And then you can just go ahead, copy that, come into IntelliJ, come into our resources folder, come into data, inside of tutorial mod, create a new directory for recipes, and inside of here I can create a new file, and I'm just going to call this example underscore helmet.json, paste it in, and boom, we now have a recipe for our helmet. For simple recipes like this, I would generally just kind of create them myself rather than using the UI. So, you know, for example, the example chest plate, we can easily just change to example chest plate, and we can easily say that it should be like this, and create a new row, E, and boom, that's an example chest plate. Then you can do the same for, you know, your leggings, and etc, etc. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that for all of the armor, all of the tools, and I'll be back with you once I have done those. Okay, so I've done all of those. Next, say we wanted to turn our block into 9 of our item. Well, we would say example item here as the result. We would say 9 of them. Now this time we're going to want a shapeless recipe, and we're going to say the ingredient tutorial mod example underscore block, and boom, that would be all you need for a shapeless recipe of crafting our example block into our example item. So you might come into recipes and you might call this example underscore block to example underscore item.json. That's obviously quite a long name, but you can call these recipes whatever you want. It doesn't have to be whatever the recipe outputs. It's just generally that's kind of what you would do. And then maybe we want to do the opposite. So we want to turn our example item into our example block. So we would come back to shaped, and we would create a new pattern, and we might go E, and say that E should be tutorial mod example underscore item, and we're converting that into example underscore block, and we want a count of 1, so we just don't specify a count. And boom, if we come back into here, we can create a new file, example underscore item underscore 2 underscore example underscore block, and paste it in there, and boom. Now maybe we want to make a smelting recipe for our ores. So we would go to smelting, and we would create we would first say our ingredient is going to be tutorial mod example underscore ore. Now what you can actually do here is create a tag for your ores. So let's go ahead and do that so that we don't have to create a recipe for each of our ores. So we'll go tutorial mod, tags blocks, you'll see we already have, but we want tags / items instead of blocks. And in here we'll create a new file and we'll just call this example underscore ore.json. We'll first say whether we want to replace, which we're just going to say false. And then we're going to say the values, and we're going to specify tutorial mod example underscore ore. We want tutorial mod deep slate underscore example underscore ore, and we want tutorial mod never example ore, and also tutorial mod end underscore example underscore ore. Hopefully I typed those all correct. But now if we come into the recipe, we can say that our ingredient should be an item tag, and it should be tutorial mod example underscore ore. And that will now be the tag that is used, and that will point to this specific tag that we just created inside of items here. So we'll come back in here, we'll say that the result should be tutorial mod example underscore item, and then we can say a specific experience that should be used, so maybe like 0.5. I don't know exactly like what vanilla uses, and then maybe a cooking time of 200. Now if I just copy paste this in here, we can actually set a preset that might be used. So if we go iron ore, for example, I'm sure that exists. You'll see there's actually two different recipes. You have your blasting and you have the smelting. So we'll look at smelting. You'll see it uses actually 0.7 and 200 was correct. The interesting thing here is that we actually can now copy this in. First of all, let's copy this in. So we'll just create recipes. We'll say new file. We'll call this example underscore ore underscore 2 underscore example underscore item underscore smelting. So obviously recipe names you can see are getting quite long. That's just kind of how it is. But we can create the same one for blasting effectively. So we'll just say blasting. And I assume that blasting increases the experience and decreases the cooking time. So let's have a look. Let's go blasting. Let's go iron ingot from blasting iron ore, and yeah, it halves the cooking time. We'll say 100 instead of 200. So we just copy it, we come back into IntelliJ and we go a new file, example underscore ore, and we actually could instead do example ore blasting.json, right, like that, and actually do the same with this one. That would shorten the name quite a lot if we did that, so let's just do that. That's a good idea. Example ore smelting, and boom, now you have your smelting recipes. So let's come back into here again. Let's see, what else can you do? So you can do campfires, you can do smithing stuff with trims and whatever, you can do stone cutting, etc. I'm not going to go through all of these, of course, and in the future we'll create our own custom recipe types as well for our block entities, for our machines and furnaces and whatever. But for now, these are all of the recipes you can do. So we can now go ahead, we can close that, and we can go ahead and run the game, and hopefully it should all work. So if I place down crafting table furnace, blast furnace, since those are the ones we're going to want, and first we'll start with the basic recipes. So we'll first start with creating our item to block. Fairly simple, that works fine, and block back to item also works fine. And yeah, that's pretty much, well, that is it. So obviously I hope you found it useful. Recipes are fairly simple, but I just wanted to get them out of the way and done before everyone kept on asking about them. If you liked, obviously leave a like and subscribe so you can see when I next post. If you had any problems, obviously feel free to join my Discord server, which is linked in the description down below. Yeah, I'll see you in the next tutorial. Goodbye.